Welcome to the No Code MBA Show podcast. In this episode, I speak with Katt Risen, the founder of No Code Exits, as well as Sprints.so. You're going to learn about her story going from an employee inside of a company to a no-code founder herself. It's a really inspiring story that I think you're going to really enjoy. If you want to learn how to build your own no-code projects, go to nocode.mba and check out our full course library and use the code podcast10 for 10% off your No Code MBA membership. Let's go ahead and get into this episode. I'd love to first just learn kind of how did you get into the no code space? What was your journey into working on what you're building today?
My background is kind of interesting to know because that's what people might find inspiring, that I totally don't have a background in tech or in anything technical. So I studied marketing. I worked for like 10 years for a big tourism corporation in the digital team. So lots of online stuff, but more kind of managing digital projects, content marketing, digital customer experience, that stuff. I always had that little dream about starting my own business, but I never really did it. I was like checking out indie hackers, checking out Product Hunt every day and like dreaming of making my own products, listening to all the podcasts of indie hackers, reading all those business books that everyone has read, like Lean Startup and all those classics. But it was just reading and watching and never really doing something. That was, of course, because I couldn't code. But also the problem was sometimes we started brainstorming with some friends and we did it in the wrong way. We started brainstorming. We made like super cool mock-ups and a super fancy logo and all that stuff that doesn't really matter. And then after a while, we already lost motivation and our projects never went anywhere. But it all changed a little bit when I discovered no code. And in the beginning, this was for my job. We had kind of a big problem in our team because it was during COVID. And we had to communicate a lot of new regulations to our guests. So I worked for a big tourism corporation, and we had like 200 holiday destinations all through Europe. And the guests wanted to know which activities can we still do. And I don't know if you remember, but in Europe it was that after COVID got better, there were these regulations like you have to keep this distance and there can only be 4 persons in the room from the same family, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And there were all different rules for different countries and also different provinces. So it was really complicated to communicate this to our guests. And our customer call center was overworked. They got 1,000 calls per day. They couldn't manage it. The digital team created a PDF, but it was like a huge PDF with 20 pages, and on mobile you couldn't see what you were looking for. It was terrible. So then I learned about software. I saw it on Product Hunt. So we decided to maybe try to use that and embed a software directory on our website. And it was a lifesaver for our team because we had then one Airtable where we could manage everything for 8 languages. We had a website with 8 languages. And when the press conferences with the new regulations were every Friday. And our website didn't publish on a Friday. That's a stupid rule. And now with Airtable, we could just watch the press conference from our couch tick a few times in the Airtable mobile app, and it was all live on the website in a matter of a few seconds, and it saved a lot of time for our team, and also a lot of boring work, because it was terrible work to keep that up to date. Um, and yeah, that was the first time that I really built a very simple and small solution myself, with really that solved a problem for our team and for our guests. And we weren't dependent of our internal IT team, because if we asked the engineers for a solution, it was like, yeah, we can help you in 8 months, something like that. So we were waiting, we were frustrated, everything was going wrong. And it was such a huge eye opener to finally make something myself.
Yeah, that's a great example of how no code doesn't have to only be for entrepreneurs or someone who's starting their own
Yeah,
business. It can totally also be useful inside of a business
yeah,
where exactly like what you said, the developers aren't going to build something for you. They have their other things that they
yeah,
need to build.
yeah,
And it really empowers people who are non-technical to be able to do that. And then it's also interesting with your story with it being during COVID. And I wonder if that also helped. I know a lot of companies were much more open to trying new technologies during that time. I'm wondering, do you think that made them more willing to embrace that, or
um,
yeah,
I think so, but it was really clear that how it was going at that moment,
yeah,
it wasn't going well. And we also had challenges with, we had to save costs because we had rough months before, because everything was closed.
yeah,
They also couldn't pressure the engineers, because they had a huge roadmap, they had a
right,
limited budget. So we also understand that it's for them not easy to build a solution for every problem that pops up. There was the higher level was for sure more open to just experiment and look for other solutions than and especially because I didn't really ask it, I just built it in like maybe 2 hours. And
yes,
when they saw it before I really published it on our website, they were like, okay, yeah, this is a good solution. And because they see it in action, they see what it is. And better to show than to tell them in a, I don't know, a PowerPoint.
absolutely, yeah,
Yeah.
always. I completely agree. In terms of so then you were inside of a company, you're using software to build something that's actually being used by the company and being used by people. What was
Yeah.
your next step out after that? Did you how did you go from that to where you are now?
It was for sure a kind of an inspiring moment for me. Like, okay, I want to do more with no code because I really liked it. Um, so um, I followed a no code bootcamp, um, and there the goal of that no code bootcamp was to launch your first MVP product. And my little product was a no code guru, and no code guru was now it's not that fancy anymore because we have chat gpt, but then it was like a chatbot that you could talk with, and you could tell it which characteristics you need for
Mm,
your no code product that you want to build. So you say, I want to use Airtable. It is a marketplace. It needs to has user authentication, so all that kind of stuff, and then it would suggest you which are the best three no code tools to use. It was inspired because everywhere I looked, also in the no code bootcamp community, was like, I want to build this. What is the best tool to do it? That's like probably the
yeah,
most common question you get if from no code beginners. And
yeah,
also for myself, in the beginning, the no code landscape is kind of overwhelming still now.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was just a fun little side project. I built it with Lenbot, which is Lenbot is pretty cool because they have Airtable integration. So the whole chatbot flow is not in the chatbot itself, but the data comes from Airtable. So I have this huge Airtable base where I have all the tools that I want to use in my chatbot with all the characteristics. So it's easy to keep it up to date. And yeah, then I did a huge milestone for me. I launched it on Product Hunt, which was kind of special because after, I don't know, lurking for so many years, it was like, whoa, I'm on Product
Right.
Hunt.
Yeah. The first time you launch
Yeah,
is
yeah,
so fun. Yeah.
yeah. That's really amazing. And yeah, I was nervous because I didn't had a lot of followers on Twitter. But it did well, so it was another great little boost of yeah, keep going, keep building and learning. Yeah, and also because before I was always more the watcher and the reader, and never really interacting with people or posting stuff. And yeah, it all started to turn around because of these small wins. You gain a little bit of confidence, you start to connect with people on Twitter, you start to chat with some people, and yeah, it makes such a huge difference to have people who are cheering for you and who are so enthusiastic about your project, although it's something very small.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing and really inspirational, hopefully, for people listening who, might just feel like they don't know how to launch something, or they don't have a community of people that no one will support them, or they just don't really know how to go from zero to
Yeah,
something. And I think just launching something, even if it's not perfect or it's a
yeah,
smaller project, is really important and can be that first step to continuing to make more things. And everyone
yeah,
has to kind of do that first launch,
yeah,
and then you realize, oh, that wasn't so hard. I
yeah,
can,
that wasn't so bad. Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah. Yeah, and especially that you don't have to start with that $1 million idea, but just with some small first things that you get that first win, that first boost to keep going. Instead of keeping stuck at that, oh, I need to have that perfect idea before I launch something. It's also because I also had that problem a little bit during the bootcamp. What will I build? And you Google something, oh, it already exists. I'm not going to build that. But it's when you really start launching and being active, you start to see opportunities everywhere. Uh, now I see so many opportunities and so many ideas. And before I had the feeling like, oh, that already exists. I don't need to do that. And also, I learned that it doesn't matter if it already exists. You can give it a twist and or focus on a different niche with the same idea, and then everything is possible.
yes, yeah. I totally agree on both points. That first, pretty soon you have too many ideas
Yeah,
for the amount of time that you have. So the time becomes much more of a constraint than the
yeah,
idea aspect. And also I completely agree that your idea doesn't have to be something completely new that no one's thought of before. And if anything, if there's something else out there that is successful, it proves that people are willing to spend money on it also.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost a positive point, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
totally.
and that's the challenge with no code. You can build anything, and it's still something I need to learn. But should you build anything? Probably not.
Right.
And I also do a lot of content projects now. I'm actually a little bit stuck in the content projects, and that's even easier to start. Um, and that's something I really, I, yeah, when you start on your own, you really have to, you learn a lot about yourself. And that's one of the things I really need to focus and not jump from this to that and never finish anything. But yeah, all part of it, I think.
Yeah,
How do
totally.
you that? Because I think you also spot a lot of new opportunities, and you have a lot great no code skills too.
Yeah, it is also a challenge, and I have, a few different no code, apps that are built with the no code, and the I end up spending most of my time on our no code MBA, and I try and focus on kind of what's working, and that is, I think, important. What's challenging with new like projects that I create isn't necessarily the building of it. I mean, obviously
Yeah,
it's not necessarily easy, but it's kind of fun. And um the harder part is getting people to pay for it or use it, right? Or know about it.
yeah,
And it's the marketing side of things that I find more of a constraint. So I think that in order to like really be like maybe really like one person can kind of market and get one project really out there, but you probably need to start having more of a team or like people that you're working with to
yeah,
get multiple projects to really work. At least that's my current thought process, and I haven't figured out a way to like
yeah.
on my own really make multiple projects,
No,
market them successfully.
yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
Or it
Would you
has, or it has to
agree?
be, it has. Oh, sorry. It needs a viral component or something like that. But still, then, if you really want to do it well, yeah,
Exactly.
I think it's good to focus on what works, but it's sometimes easier said than done.
Yeah, and I think maybe spend, 75% of your time on the main focus, and
Yeah,
then the rest of the time you can tinker, and then maybe you'll get something that really works, and
yeah,
then um
yeah,
part of it is, okay, what do you want to do, or if it's fun to do those other things too. So yeah, it's I think that's something that a lot of people listening might resonate with. Just once you learn about no code and have different skill sets, and I learned these skill sets, then you want to create different things.
yeah,
But I do think for turning it into a business, so much of it is the marketing and sales aspect of it.
yeah, yeah. The building became easier than the marketing. Yeah,
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 totally. So when did you start No Code Exits? Because that's when I think I first heard about you
yeah.
online.
So maybe first a step back. So No Code Guru, the little MVP, I s- I kept improving it a little bit and promote it here and there, but yeah, it was not really. It was free to use, so it's not something that you will make a lot of money with. And then I had another idea for something acquisition related. So I listed No Code Guru on acquire.com, um, just to test it out because I wanted to learn how the platform worked, and see if I could use something for another idea. Um, and so I listed it, I forgot about it. And then suddenly, a few months later, I got an offer from someone who wanted to acquire No Code Guru. Before I also had some offers, but it was never serious or people never answered. So it left my mind. But then there was one person who was really interested. She wrote a book about no code and she wanted to do something with No Code Guru to support the book she wrote. So that was another, yeah, small win for me because whoa, someone really wants to give money for the little side project that I built. It was like, that's amazing. So yeah, I tweeted about it and that tweet really blew up. It was crazy. And people were so happy and cheering. And I think it's because they followed my journey and saw me going from a lurker to someone who started with no codes, launched her first product on Product Hunt, and then it got acquired. It was just for was 3.5K. So it's not that it's not life changing, but it was more the motivation booster that was important, I think, here than really the money. And
That's also a pretty, that's not nothing at the same time. That I would be
no,
pretty
indeed,
impressive.
yeah,
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 yeah, yeah.
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 And because the tweet did so well, and I got a lot of DMs about it, I had the idea, maybe I should write about this. So in 30 minutes, I set up a Substack page. I'm not good in it. Normally I spend like days on a landing page and a logo and a name, but now I was like, I have to go fast. I was also leaving on holiday the day after, so I felt the pressure. I got a logo from flaticon.com. I went with the first name that popped in my head. That was No Code Exits, and I just used Substack, so it was very simple. And again, I tweeted about it. So that I wanted to write about my stories, but also other stories of no-code projects that were acquired. And again, that tweet blew up. So I think 24 hours later, I had 300 subscribers. And I published my own story. And I went on holiday then for 3 weeks. And when I came back, I had 1,000 subscribers. So it was like a content content market validation, content market fit.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I will keep doing this. And I started researching some other people on Indie Hackers. They were all very enthusiastic to do interviews. And yeah, that's how it started. And now I also do not only the exit stories, but also of stories of people who are building profitable products with no code. So, because one of the most asked questions I think is, are there really people making money with no code? It still has sometimes the image of hobby projects if you build with no code, but I want to prove with my newsletter that you can make money with no code.
Yeah. Yeah. It's true. It's definitely, and I think over time, just more and more examples
Yeah,
of companies
yeah,
built with no code are going to keep popping up.
yeah,
And it's I mean there's I do some interval obviously these podcast interviews with people building with no code, and on the site as well some interviews, and you know it's over time hopefully it'll be easier and easier to find people who are inspiring to interview. Yeah.
yeah,
um
yeah.
in her So one thing that stands out from listening to your story is I feel like you always are kind of take action to make things happen, and like when you see an opportunity you seem to kind of go after it and do it, like and there's a combination of luck and then recognizing when there's an opportunity and kind of capturing that luck. Is that something that you try and like do to kind of be action oriented, or is that just in your nature, or is that something that you think about?
Um, yeah, I of course around that time I was looking for a new project because No Code Guru was acquired, so that really helped in taking action. Um, but yeah, I also just learned from the bootcamp also
Mm-hmm.
that yeah, it's important to keep it simple in the beginning. And with that 30-minute landing page and logo that I created, there was not a lot to lose. So if you try it out like that, you can experiment with so many things and see what sticks and focus on that. It is a little bit in my nature, but now I also sometimes see it as a disadvantage because I get distracted, like we said, shiny objects everywhere. But yeah, if you are your own boss, it's of course also good if you can spot those opportunities.
Yeah.
But I'm not it was also a lot of luck, I think.
Well, everyone's greatest strength is also their weakness at the same time, I guess.
That's
So
true.
I definitely resonate with that. Was it the 100 days of no code boot camp or
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
it seems like a great boot camp. And is
Yeah,
there
it's
anything to say about your experience with that?
yeah, it's a great mix, I think, because it's you learn about building public, which really helps with getting out of there, start being active, stop being a lurker. Then also more like the basics, like APIs, databases, design. So all the basics that you need to build a no-code product. And then the MVP really helps in having this nice final project to focus on. And then you have a lot of expert sessions where people show you different no-code tools. So it's a great it's a great program, I think, to get a little bit of everything. And it's a good atmosphere of motivated people who want to do the same as you, which is also a really nice feeling, because in my friends around me, they are not really into indie hacking or no code or building digital products. So it's really nice if you can connect with some like-minded people. And yeah, still to this day, I'm still involved in 100 days of no code, and yeah, I'm very happy that they transformed my life with their bootcamp. I'm not sure what if I had done it on my own. I think it would be different, because you can of course learn everything on your own with YouTube and Googling and ChatGPT, but like the deadlines and the people that support you, it makes a big difference, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And I think just any type of course or platform, of course you can learn things on your own, but having that structure and also learning from someone who
And the
has already
discipline,
gone
yeah.
through
Yeah.
that trial and error, so you don't have to do
Yeah.
that trial and error. It can save you a ton of time as well.
Yeah.
And then I think, of course, with cohorts, we don't do any cohorts at No Code MBA, but I think it gives you that accountability, which is harder with self-guided. So there's kind of
Yeah.
pros and cons to self-guided versus
Yeah.
cohorts. But yeah, I think I've heard great things about 100 days of no code. So it's cool to hear you had a good experience.
Yeah. Really big fan. Yeah.
Yeah. And so my next question is about no code exits, and um, is there anything that you keep in mind in terms of promoting the content that you create or creating the content in general that you think has helped it be successful and take off in the way that it did and grow? Is there anything you keep in mind on the content side?
Um, yeah, there are a few things. Of course, it's more than just writing and publishing your story. But I really recycle the content from my newsletter onto different channels. And an example of one that did really well is when I summarize the story, and then I tag the no-code tools that were used to build. Then it often gets retweeted by the no-code tools, because they always look for cool content to share about their product. And this gives me then again visibility with their followers. Or also in the beginning, it was retweeted by acquired.com, which was also very interesting for me. Now it's a little bit more difficult, I have the feeling, with the new X algorithm. I'm not sure. Do you feel the same, that it's more difficult to get more eyes on it?
Yes, I mean, definitely. I mean, links for sure, I think are really
Yeah.
hard to don't spread
Yeah.
as much.
Yeah.
So it's yeah, I
Yeah.
definitely noticed
I
that.
think I started at the right moment also because my tweets got a lot of views and reach, so that really helped. Now it's a little bit more difficult, but I rewrite my articles and post them on Indie Hackers, on Reddit, on LinkedIn, on I try a lot of things. Sometimes on the Product Hunt forum. Sometimes I make the articles into a list. For example, the 10 products that got acquired,
Mhm.
built with Bubble, or the 5 SaaS products that make 500 plus revenues, stuff like that. So I really try to reuse the content and try to turn it into an interesting format. Because just copy pasting the interview doesn't work. I also tried that,
Yeah.
especially on Reddit, and it's just like you get a lot of bad comments. uh, Everyone knows about it, right? And yeah, so content distribution is a big part of it. And yeah, I'm also um, active in a lot of no-code communities, which of course also helps when someone has an acquisition, or they tag me. So that's really easy for me. That makes it easier to find new people to interview. Um, and yeah, try to be not just promote my content in communities, but also try to be helpful. And then now and then promoting is okay if you do it like that, I think.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm thinking if I have other content strategies. Um, but no, it's mainly Twitter, and then rewriting it into other formats and using it there. Also on Medium also.
Got it. Got it. So kind of like what we talked about before, you kind of have the product itself, but you could if you just wrote it, no one
Yeah,
would know about it, and
yeah,
all this
yeah,
effort.
yeah,
It sounds like you put maybe even more time into the promoting
yeah,
and recycling the
yeah,
content and getting
yeah,
people to know about it than the actual article
yeah,
itself.
yeah. The problem is that when I'm really busy, or I have maybe a week that I want want to work on another project, then I feel that I work less on the distribution because that's the less interesting part.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, it is important if you want to grow.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
totally. I mean, that resonates a
yeah,
lot with all of like the blog posts and stuff from No Code MBA. And
yeah,
I think I could be doing probably 5 times as much,
yeah,
recycling of content. And, but it's just hard when, you have other things that are
yeah.
more
So many
fun to
interesting
do
other things. Yeah,
but this is inspiring me to do a better job of that as well. And
yeah,
I think
yeah,
probably most companies could do a better job with that.
yeah.
And so yeah,
It
that's
could be a full-time role, maybe.
it is basically
Yeah,
totally.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so um, what are you? Is your main focus right now on no code exits? Also, are you still at your full-time job, or are you full and you make?
Um,
What's your
so I
status?
started No Code Exit in August, and in February I quit my job. Um, and yeah, No Code Exit started doing well. It's now around, it's not very stable, but it's between um 1,000, 2,000 euro per month. But also there it's it brings in some revenue if I focus on it. I really have to reach out and maybe contact some earlier sponsors if they want to do another round. And also again, not the most fun part to do, but it is important
Yeah,
to especially if it's if you quit your job. So yeah, No Code Exits is one of my main projects, and it gave me the confidence to quit my job. Also, No Code Guru acquired, so I had the feeling I can make some money here.
Yeah.
And then next to it, I'm still freelancing, because I have 2 kids and they eat a lot. Um, and yeah, just to give me some peace of mind, that the money is not drying up, but it's also a challenge sometimes, because sometimes I have the feeling I'm still in a 9 to 5 freelancing and then on the side working on my projects. But I try to balance it per month. So I have some months that I'm doing some more freelancing, and then
Mm.
some other months that I try to take it easier. Um, and the freelancing is partly in no code sometimes, so really easy stuff like Airtable, Software, and partly more related still to my previous job. Um, so I hope to do that less and less. And the latest project I have been working on, and this is with a friend, someone I met in the 100 Days of No Code Bootcamp with Harold, is Sprints, and that is sort of an accountability challenge that we started it in October. So 1 month old.
Awesome. Yeah. Do you
Yeah.
want to talk a little bit more about sprints and how that works?
Yeah, sure. So first we started with a build to exit challenge, which was kind of logic with my newsletter. That was in May, May this year, and there the goal was that in 6 weeks you would go from zero to exit, and every week we provided a content guide with steps you had to go through. We had some stand-ups, we had a community. We were with I think 20 people in the first round. It was really super fun. Um, and people built cool stuff. There were a few exits, but when we talked to our members, was like, oh yeah, I really love this because uh, you kept me accountable and I really made progress and stuff like that. So
Hmm.
we loved the exit part, but it also felt like that they wanted to do more and longer. So we decided to pivot it, because also with the exit you don't have everything under control. So it was not all under our control, and that's we really wanted to help them make more progress, and I have difficulties with that word, complete their goals. So that's where how we got the idea for sprints, and we after we talked to our users, then we did kind of a survey again with some of our members, because we wanted to do it right and not really follow our idea that we think is cool, but really do something that helps them. And like that, we set up the first version. So it's a Slack channel. Every first of the month, people define their goal that they want to work on. And then every week you can share your weekly tasks, so that you um, make it snackable, your goal, by working on tiny tasks every week. So you make every week a little bit of progress. And we have some co-working sessions. We do a lot of check-ins, like how is it going? Can we help? Do you need advice? Stuff like that. And at the end of the month, you reflect on your month and you set a new goal for the next month. Um, it's really fun, because being a solo maker is kind of lonely, because your friends don't understand what you're doing. you work alone in the evenings. You say no to go out with your friends, and yeah, you really do it for yourself, and no one really understands. So if you come into a little group of and you see people are doing the same, it's really motivating, I think. And yeah, it's a good atmosphere in our little Slack. And yeah, we're really working on it's just the beginning now. So we are setting everything up, and I also onboard every new member. Um, and I talk to them so we can learn what is the best way to help them. Uh, and yeah, we will see where it goes, but it's fun so far.
Yeah, I'm on the site right now, and I think it's a great idea. And
Yeah.
it's also a very good deal, I think. So if you're listening and you're interested,
Thank you.
you should get the deal before the price goes up, because
Yeah. Yeah.
I see that you already are going to raise the price, and it says right now 9 left after 9 more sign up. So
Yeah.
yeah, I like the idea. And is the goal to eventually, like, how do you think about scaling it and kind of building a community as it grows? So I imagine it'll be very different if you have 100 people versus 1,000
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
And how do you think about that?
One of our goals is to keep it manageable. So we are already automating a lot of stuff. We've been working hard on this in this month. Like that, um, reminders are sent automatically. So also there again, it's a lot of no code that helps us with Zapier and Slack automations. A lot in Airtable. Generate banners to create automatic images. All these kind of small things that really make our work easier, because running a community is crazy. It's a lot of work. You always have to be there and send reminders and stuff like that. But if we can do it like this, that a big part of it is automated, that we can focus on the fun part, the connecting with people, and the talking with people, I think then it's manageable. But we will see if we have to maybe I think you call it cap it off at a certain number if we feel that it becomes too much. We will see and learn. But now we are with 40 people, but not everyone is active, so that's okay. I think it's normal that some people have our months that they are very active, and then that's how life goes.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So we will see, but yeah, no code. It's not really building a product, but no code is helping us out here a lot to make it manageable.
Right. Yeah. No, that makes sense. And it's also, I think, I actually, I don't know. I'm curious. Like, do you advertise sprints in no code exits, or
Yeah,
is that one
of
way? Yeah.
course. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Which is I think really
That's
smart.
something I
Yeah.
try to do for every shiny object that I have, is that it should it should resonate with the readers from no code exits, because then I already have some easier distribution.
Right. And like obviously you can sell ads in no code exits, but it's better if you can just sell your own products,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that's the ideal. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's in my welcome email, I think, and then sometimes when I have an ad spot open, I advertise my own products, or sometimes in the introduction if there's like a special milestone for one of my projects. Yeah, that's a big advantage, right?
Totally.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
Now, in terms of I guess managing yourself as kind of a solo maker, is there anything that you do to help keep yourself productive? I guess other than being a part of sprints, but keep yourself
That's the
productive and
only solution.
yeah,
um,
yeah,
yeah, so I I now do try to stick to those two projects. So that's Sprints and No Code Exits. And then for No Code Exits, I have been slowly also automating a lot. So very simple stuff, but which as a solo maker can make a huge difference. Like when I reach out to people to ask if they want to do an interview, um, then they answer, and then sometimes it takes a few weeks before I answer again. Especially in the Twitter DMs, it's so hard to follow up conversations. But now I ask their email address, and then they get automatically the questions from my interview. And then after a week, they get automatically a reminder and stuff like that. My interviews are sometimes in live Zoom calls, but sometimes it's also async. Especially for the smaller stories, that's fine. For the bigger stories, I prefer to do it in a Zoom call. But yeah, automating it like that really helps me in having having enough stories, and that I don't have to go every week looking in a hurry with stress, like, oh, which one am I going to write about now? So yeah, stuff like that helps, and that's again just with software is my website. The form with the questions is an Airtable form, and all the automations happen in Airtable. So again, really simple. And then they come into my Airtable. Then I add them to a calendar slot. Then I add which ad spots need to be in that issue too. So I have really one clear overview of per issue of what I need to have in it. And that really helps me because I have a lot of email addresses, and then you have Twitter DMs, and everything is everywhere. So I really need stuff like that, or I make mistakes. So that's been a huge time saver. Another one is for my advertising. I was first using passion fruits for selling ad spaces, but they take a big chunk of the of the advertisement, or it's I think it's the advertiser that pays it, but still then your price goes up a lot. So and yeah, another disadvantage was that it was not really flexible, so you had to follow their process and the way they saw how it what was the best way to to go from proposal to payment. And again, there I built my own little thing with this time with a software form, and also Airtable automations and Stripe payment links. And it's just so fun that you can just do that thanks to these tools.
Right.
And then it's completely like I want it, and the process I want. So and then it again comes nicely in my big Airtable that I use for interviews. So it's all in one space. And yeah, I like to do these little tweaks
Yes.
to work more efficient.
Yeah, I feel the same. I think like being able to build like these operational processes for yourself
Yeah,
is
yeah,
is so helpful. Yeah.
yeah. And that's something more people should know, I think. So like my friends in day-to-day life, if I talk about them about it with them, they're like, oh, Airtable, I don't know it, but I think every human being would find it so useful to learn these kind of things and automate some kind of processes in their jobs.
Yes. Yeah, I totally agree. Totally
Yeah,
agree.
yeah.
So, we're coming up on time now. I feel like we could keep talking about no code for
Yeah,
a while, but
that went fast.
it did, yeah. So I guess to finish up, is there anything else you want to share with people about yourself, and where can people follow you um, and
Yeah.
stay involved?
So you can follow me on Twitter. That's Katt Risen. So that's Kattrisen. That's not my real name, but it's from my lurker days when I felt not comfortable to build in public. I just went with a different name. My real name is Catherine, so and Kat is my nickname. Um, and yeah, you can subscribe to the newsletter, no code exits.com, and join our accountability challenge, which is really fun at Sprints.so. And maybe a final word of advice is that it's really good to know that if you hear about acquisitions, like there is so much more than the 1 billion acquisitions of Loom. There's also a whole ecosystem of smaller acquisitions, and I think that is such a fun opportunity for makers like us who spot opportunities everywhere and like to go from zero to one, but maybe don't like the part after that, the marketing and the distribution. So I think for no code makers, it's really a fun opportunity to build something and try to sell it and yeah, make some money with it and go on to a next shiny object.
Cool. Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, this was I think this will be a really inspiring interview for people listening. Your story is amazing, going from just, working at a company to using no code inside of a
Yeah.
company to building your own no
Yeah.
code to selling it to now building your own no code products. So
Yeah.
I think that people will really enjoy it.
Yeah, thank you. And I'm really beginner no code builder, so there are so many people who are better no code builders, but I think if you yeah, focus on a simple product, it's still okay if you are not the best builder. Just focus on something small and go from there.
That's great advice as well. Yeah, not everything has to be super complex that is
No.
using Bubble or Flutterflow or something like that. It can just
Yeah.
be,
Yeah.
it's more about what problem are you able to solve for people.
Yeah. Yeah. Although
Yeah.
my next goal is to build something with Bubble.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, once I learned Bubble, it's been hard for me to go back. So
Yeah, I can understand, but yeah, I heard so many good things, so that's
yeah,
my next challenge, but yeah,
cool.
I will have to resist it for a while now.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. There's too many things to learn and do. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. Well, thanks so much for coming on the podcast. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for listening to this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to build your own no code projects, go to nocode.mba. Check out our No Code MBA membership, where you'll get in depth tutorials teaching you how to build real projects like Airbnb and Reddit. And if you use the code podcast10, you'll save 10% off your No Code MBA membership.